first recipe, I made an Orzo salad. It's a super light, easy, and versatile dish. First, I cooked the orzo just how you would cook any other kind of pasta. So the ingredients I used were tomato, cucumber, and basil, but you can use whatever you want. It's a really flexible recipe and you can add whatever vegetables you like. I'd like to say yes, I did wash all the vegetables and ingredients beforehand. So here's me cutting up the tomatoes. I used cherry tomatoes and then I just cut them in half and then cut them in half again. I then sliced up the cucumber and then cut those slices into fourths. So I drained the orzo here, and here are all my ingredients out. Again, you can really use whatever you want to, maybe bell pepper or olives if you like those. You can also add different kinds of seasoning, maybe some parsley or other herbs, or pepper. So next, now you just want to put all your ingredients in a bowl. You can use however much basil you'd like. I really like basil, so I actually ended up adding more to this, but you can use whatever you like. So next I drizzled in olive oil to taste. This would be the part if you wanted to add in other kinds of seasoning, you could add that in here. And then fold everything together until it looks pretty well combined. And there you have it. This is a super easy and light recipe, and I think it's really good for summer. You can eat it hot, cold, room temperature, whatever you would prefer. And it could also be used for a side too. So for the next recipe, I'm going to be making sweet potato chips. It's a very similar concept to sweet potato fries, but you just kind of cut them into slices instead of wedges. I'm just going to be using olive oil and pink Himalayan salt, and obviously sweet potatoes. So let's get started. First you want to cut up the sweet potato, and when you're slicing them, you want to make sure that the slices are nice and thin, so they get nice and crispy in the oven. Next, I spread them out on a baking sheet, and they don't have to be perfect circles. The smaller pieces actually turn out the best. Then I drizzled the sweet potatoes with olive oil, and next I'm topping them with pink Himalayan salt, but they really can be whatever kind of salt that you have. Obviously, I'm not doing a great job here, but you want to massage the olive oil and salt into the sweet potatoes so they cover each slice, and then I'm arranging them so they get evenly baked in the oven. Then I popped them in the oven at 400 degrees, and I left them in there until they looked crispy and ready to eat. They're best when they're right out of the oven, but if you aren't going to eat them right away, they can also be stored in the freezer. These sweet potato chips are really good for a side for your lunch or dinner, or you can even have them as a snack. Next, I made healthy tacos. They're really easy to make, and there isn't too much of a difference from regular tacos. All I basically used was turkey, tortillas, sour cream, salsa, and arugula. First, I cooked up the meat like normal and added some salt, pepper, and olive oil. Typically, I don't add too many spices on my foods because I have a pretty sensitive stomach, but you can definitely add whatever spices you want to give it a kick, like chili, garlic, onion, and paprika. So to give the meat some flavor, what I do is add the sour cream and salsa to the meat in a separate bowl and mix it up. You should make sure that your sour cream and salsa have clean ingredients and no additives. If you're vegetarian or vegan, you can substitute the turkey for tofu and the sour cream for a dairy-free kind. Then I spoon the turkey onto the tortilla. Again, you want to make sure the ingredients are good. I used blue corn tortilla from Whole Foods, and the ingredients are just organic blue corn, sea salt, and lime. Then I top the tacos with some tomatoes and arugula. And here it is! These are really good and a perfect alternative to regular tacos on Taco Tuesday. Let's try it. messy. So next, I'm going to make zucchini or squash noodles. You can use the zucchini and squash as a substitute for regular pasta. It's a way to get your veggies in. Usually I'll use zucchini instead of squash, but we didn't have any today, so we're going to be using yellow squash instead. First, I cut off the ends of the squash so I could spiralize them. So you will need a spiralizer for this recipe. I just have a handheld one and that works fine. Usually when the piece gets too small, I will slice the squash so I don't waste any. Once again, I added olive oil, salt, and pepper, and then combined it. And then I cooked up the squash. Here you can see some pieces are really long, and I usually will cut them, but I just forgot. I added some homemade tomato sauce, which is basically just canned tomatoes that I pureed with olive oil and Italian seasoning. You've seen me cut tomatoes twice already in this video, but here it is again. I added some green beans as well as arugula and tomato, and here it is. Let's try it. I don't know if I should be eating this with a white shirt on.